challenges. More specifically, challenges that me and many independent artists like myself face on a daily basis as up-and-coming artists, and how we just navigate them. One big thing is equipment. Like your mic, your laptop, or etc. And learning how to work around the limitations that come with having cheaper equipment. Like putting different effects on your voice, or things like that. I know if I had the newest iMac or whatever, I wouldn't necessarily have to worry about anything like the speed of the PC or the space of the hard drive or what have you. Similarly, if I had the newest mic, I'd be like the happiest kid in the candy store, right? A big part of facing those challenges is learning how to work around those limitations, like being able to continue to flow and continue to create despite having those limitations and those hurdles. Another big thing is, lack of label support, obviously. Promoting your music can be a really big challenge for independent artists, especially in the absence of a record label to support your efforts, you know what I mean? The absence of that backing label often makes it difficult to gain visibility, secure those big gigs, the access, the resources necessary for that effective promotion. It's kind of like an uphill battle in a way, an uphill battle of establishing your brand, really. Just navigating the competitive music landscape and finding different avenues to showcase your talent without that traditional support system that the label would provide. And honestly, this has been a big part of me coming to that realization that this is really an all or nothing business. If you want it, you gotta lock in. You gotta carry yourself with a certain level of consistency that if you wanna make it, you have to have that consistency. I try to make sort of like a game out of it, like challenges and stuff to make it fun and entertaining, because sometimes your dream just isn't fun. Hate to say it like that, but it's true. Going after your aspirations may not be as enjoyable as you originally anticipated. It can be very demanding. It can be full of challenges, pit stops, and that realization often involves overcoming those obstacles, confronting those uncertainties, and putting in that persistent hard work. Once you get around the time where that initial allure of that dream starts to fade because of the day-to-day struggles and the sacrifices required, that's crucial knowledge. That difficulty inherently is a part of the growth process. You know what I mean? Shaping you and refining your determination to turn those dreams into a reality. Another thing is limited resources. Kind of like a general thing, but limited resources, that can significantly impact independent artists across a bunch of different aspects. Financial problems, it's gonna hurt your ability to invest in quality equipment, studio time, professional services, kind of hindering the overall production, not in a way of saying like, oh, this is not good, but in a way of like comparing to some of the bigger names in music. But me personally, I've tried to keep a mindset of having absolutely no excuses. The limited resources, I look at that as more of a reason to fuel my creativity and get sort of innovative with the way I approach it. You know what I mean? With the way I approach my marketing and what have you. I try to keep a mindset of having absolutely no excuses. I can always record whenever, or whether I'm in a mansion or whether I'm living under a rock, I can always make time for music. So no matter what the resources are, whether I'm recording with Apple earbuds or Beats or whatever the case may be, I know that there will always be a way for me to achieve the sound that I want, or at least get very, very close to it. Another thing is lack of industry connections. Networking is a big part of gaining that exposure, securing collaborations, and just in general accessing those opportunities. Without those established connections, artists we kind of find it harder to get our work noticed by the influencers, the industry professionals, and other potential collaborators. Me, I try to leverage, the online, the social media thing, you know what I mean? Trying to build that digital presence and engaging with, communities that's related to my genre, R&B, you know what I mean? And or my main genre, I should say. Reaching out to like-minded individuals and to help create that valuable connection. And that's a big thing, connections. Local events, open mics, and for the more anxiety prone, I guess online forums is a really good option. You gotta have that persistence, that authenticity, and that proactive. That's a big thing. You have to have that proactive approach in maneuvering around those sort of obstacles and that lack of connections, because it can evoke a big range of emotions for us indie artists. Frustration being a big one, because limited connections can, in a lot of situations, translate to fewer opportunities and slower career progression. Feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, that impacts the confidence when it comes to pursuing your artistic dreams. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, it can fuel your determination and your resilience when it comes to that kind of thing. Many indie artists find motivation in that challenge, you know what I mean, and use it as a driving force to improve their craft. And they seek out, they use it as an opportunity to seek out opportunities. That journey of building connections becomes a part of your narrative. It becomes a part of your identity as an artist who overcomes those obstacles to succeed on your terms. And while the initial emotions of realizing that you don't have those connections might be discouraging, transforming those feelings into the catalyst of growth and creativity is a common response for us indie artists. It's just about realizing that we are navigating a competitive music landscape and moving accordingly. Another challenge that indie artists face is time management. The time management of an indie artist versus a mainstream artist often varies due to different resources, different obligations, and just like the nature of their careers in general, right? Mainstream artists typically have access to very dedicated teams, including managers, agents, publicists, and that really allows them to focus more on their artistic side. And they may have, structured schedules with like actual defined periods for recording, promotional activities, performances, etc. On the other hand, indie artists, they're kind of juggling multiple roles, right? Like managing their music careers alongside other commitments, such as like the day jobs and like personal responsibilities. And this can make time management like way more challenging, right? They need to balance their creative pursuits with the practical aspects of it. The life side of it. And also, the practical side of running an independent music career. Like, the self-promotions, the bookings, and handling a lot of the administrative tasks. While mainstream artists might have the luxury of delegating that type of thing to somebody, indie artists are often wearing many hats. And that's going to require a lot of effective time management skills so that you can navigate the complexities of both the creative side and the business side of this big musical journey. Finally, I want to talk about royalties. Indie artists often face struggles with royalties, primarily due to just the complexities of the music industry, and like I said, limited resources. And mainstream artists, they have that support from their record labels and their experienced legal teams. Indie artists may find it to be a challenge to navigate the intricacies of just royalty collection in general. And securing fair compensation for their work can be very difficult, especially dealing with various streaming platforms, digital sales, live performances, things like that. Independent artists, they lack that. Or I should say, we lack that infrastructure to efficiently track and collect those royalties, and that can lead to potential income loss, and that's not good. And additionally, you have to understand the legal aspect of ensuring proper licensing and things like that, and that can be very daunting without the right professional guidance. And with the rise of streaming services, that's also altered the revenue landscape in terms of artists often receiving minimal payout per stream. And this can make it challenging for them to really sustain a career financially, whether or not their heart is in it or not. To overcome the challenges, I know a lot of indie artists, they turn to things like crowdfunding and merchandise sales and direct fan support to supplement that income and gain more control over the financial side. A lot of indie artists may encounter hurdles when trying to enforce their rights, especially in cases of unauthorized use or copyright infringement. Without the backing of a powerful legal team, pursuing legal action can be costly and time-consuming, and that poses a significant hurdle for independent artists seeking to protect their intellectual property. That lack of transparency in royalty distribution systems can also be a big source of frustration for indie artists. The complex contractual agreements, the varying payment schedules, just the convoluted process of collecting royalties from different sources, that definitely contributes to a sense of uncertainty. And it can be a potential delay in receiving rightful earnings. In response to these challenges, though, some indie artists are turning to music rights organizations, digital platforms that specialize in helping independent musicians collect royalties more efficiently, like BMI or what have you. But what we want to push is education within the indie music community, because that's a crucial component to empowering us indie artists with the knowledge and tools to navigate these complex landscapes of royalties or just everything I talked about today in general. So yeah, that's it.